artists, man. The Young T's, the Team Dopes, the Bars Crew, Black Girl, Lady Blaze, Voice. The list goes on and on. Now Cali Kia, the new crew coming in, Young Fallen Angel and BGG and Young Soul and those guys, and of course Sassy Ann, Angel Sessions, and Danielle Taylor and Moore. The kind of the outer core. They're not really signed to Metal Music, but we treat them like family, and they treat us like family. We call them associated artists. These guys have made this thing jump off to the point that it has, in such a short period of time. We've accomplished a lot, in the 2 years or just shy of 2 years. We've come a great amount. I'm astonished at how far we've come in such a short period of time.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I see the growth. I mean, all the artists that we have interviewed, it's just incredible, man. It's incredible, and they're all over the country. That's what's even better. That makes it's like you had a mindset of not just making it like it's not going to be local. It's going to be everywhere. We're going to be all over.
Yeah,
and that's great. Yeah. That's great. One more question before I get to what you do yourself about Metro Music.
Mm-hmm.
Who was your first artist that you were able to sign?
Young T. Young T out of Texas, man. Actually, Young T used to co-produce the show with me. He used to host the show with me when I was in Texas. I'm now in New Mexico. I'm in Carlsbad, New Mexico, but I was in Texas, which is where I call home. I'm from East Texas, Tyler, Texas, and was living in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, a little city there called Alvarado when I launched the show. And there was a group there that I started out, promoting, Texas Hustlers Entertainment. Young T Texas was a member of that group at the time, along with Lil G, Lil Gangster, Ace, and Loco, and Halo, and all those guys. They call themselves, Texas Hustlers Entertainment. So Young T was actually the first artist that I, signed to the label and worked with and actually put out. We put out a product called Solo Dolo. It was like the first album that we put out, and I produced the album. He co-produced it with me, and of course he's Solo Dolo on the album. It's all him. So that was like the first project that we actually released, other than a couple singles that I had released, of mine. But it was like the first album and the first artist that wasn't me, that we actually put out for the world to put the stamp on for us, and it did very well, and it's still doing well.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Now I want to get to you yourself. First, I want to ask you a question about what made you inspired to become an artist. Just give me some rundown. Get everybody some rundown.
Well, we got to go way back. We got to go way back to to my Arlington days, man. I was when I was growing up, man, I was a pop, lock, and ticker.
Yeah.
Did all that, and then I was a DJ. I did live sets all over Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, etc. And then, I've always loved hip hop. I lived in New York for a short period of time as a youngster, and of course, having been around that culture, it was already embedded in me. Both my younger sisters were born in New York. They're in the Bronx. But
what part?
They were born in the Bronx, Sugar Hill area of the Bronx. Now later we lived in Harlem, 145th Grand Concourse at the Malcolm X Project. That's where we lived. But we lived many years in the Sheridan Avenue area there in Sugar Hill in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so ISTM, PS23, all that,
Yeah.
So anyway, when going from playing the music, playing others' music, I've always been a hip hop rap head, like I say, from very young, and the 808, the drum machine 808, just it was kind of the thing. I was like, man, after listening to Afrika Bambaataa, Kool Herc, Curtis Blow, these were my idols, man. These were the people that I was spinning their music, and I was listening to what they were doing. I was like, man, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I researched and everything. I got on the phone and called and asked questions of different studios electricals and engineers about how they do what they do. I read up, and then I learned about the TR-808, and from there it was like I just did everything in my power, man, to find one. I finally found one, like in Cali, and I you know, bought it and had it shipped to me, you know, and you know, that was the thing that changed it. It was like my benchmark or whatever, you know what I'm saying? My musical epiphany. When I got that 808, it was over, you know. So that's how I started out, man, with a young cat named Erotic D. Very, very popular producer today. He's you know, does a lot of work with a lot of West Coast artists, man. He's worked with you know, George Clinton.
Okay.
He's worked with Dre. He's worked with Dre on like almost every one of Dre's projects since he met Dre. Then he's worked with like 6'2" and just a whole bunch of other artists. But we were like, to me, we were like kind of Biggie and Tupac back then, because we came together because somebody had challenged us. He was DJing and pop locking and picking it up, those kind of things. So everybody, you know, the buzz kept going back and forth. We were in two different areas, and everybody was like, y'all need to have a battle. And so that's kind of how it started out. But we never really battled. We came together and just started doing shows together, you know. And you know, that young cat was, you know, was something special. He actually taught me how to scratch, you know. And like I say, from there, I just went into producing music, man. When I got that 808, I mean, I've always been musically inclined. I've, you know, played the trumpet when I went to IS10, and my grandmother and them always had a piano in the house, you know. So we all, you know, all my uncles and everything, we were always, you know, musically inclined. And then I took a couple of courses, you know, on classical composing, you know, for a couple of years, like college courses for a couple of years, and like I said, when I got my hand on the 808, it was just natural progression, man, to start actually making our own music. So I give a shout out to Dion Gabriel, Erotic D, for, you know, those days. You know, he used to sleep on my couch. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it kind of reminds me of Tupac and Big, because he used to sleep on my couch. We'd go all night, we passed out making music. And that's kind of how the music started, was making. I used to run a company called Essence of Eight. My last name is ATES, Essence of Eight Productions. And then it just grew to the point back then. This was, like I say, in the late 80s, that almost everything that was popping out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area was coming through, you know, my little production studio, and that's the base Productions, EOAP Records. And, you know, that's how it all started, man. Been doing it for some time, got away from it, and then, you know, only recently, like in the last 5 years, got back into it, you know. And so everything that I learned during that era was mostly about what don't do. Okay. So all that is applied to what to do in this area, you know, cross your T's, dot your I's, and doing everything right. And I think that's one of the reasons why everything is really popping off the way it is, you know, now, because I'm more serious about it. Back then, it was just a passion that turned into a business. Yeah. And you know, now it's a business that I'm passionate about.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That I like that. I like what you're saying, because a lot of people need to hear that, and they need to hear how you started and how it should be done. You know, because you just can't jump into this and think that you're gonna be an overnight success story. You know, it takes years and years to learn how to produce and learn how to MC, and it seems like you basically had done that. So now I want to ask you about. I want to ask you, what are some of the obstacles, you know, within yourself as an artist, biggest obstacles, and also with Mental Music Records?
Well, first and foremost, as an artist, man, some days I wake up and I just don't want to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's not about me, and that's the thing that I have to continue. You know, that little voice that tells you, hey, you know, it's really not about you, especially at this stage of you know, my career, in this era of my career. It's really about the artist and about who might be touched by what I do today, because, you know, I broadcast 5 days a week. I do the Independent Everything show on Sunday and Wednesday with Nakia Qualis. She's my co-host on that. Yeah. And then I do the AllThingsFun.com radio Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for 3 hours. And the thing that I got to keep telling myself, especially as an artist, is it's really not about me. And when I say that, I want to let me go into detail about what I mean by that. I realize that there might be somebody out there that might hear something that I do, or one of the artists that I'm working with, what they do, that might change their life, and that might give them some hope. Like, if they can do it, I can do it. Like, I got that, when I was listening to, to the artists back in the day that I mentioned, the Curtis Blows and everything. There's somebody out there that might be listening to what I have to say on the air, what I say about a record, what I say about an artist, or a song that we put out, or whatever, that might change their life. And it might not even be about what I'm doing right now, but it might be about what inspires them to do what they do that might change the world. So my driving force is always to realize that, hey, it ain't just about you.
Yeah.
And so when I get that feeling like, man, I ain't feeling this today, those are the days you really got to push through and realize that it's not just about you.
Exactly.
It's about those that you might inspire, and so that's a driving force for me as an artist. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as the label, some of the obstacles, of course, is promotions. Getting your product out to the public, and then them being able to buy it. There's a lot of competition, man. I mean, the internet changed a lot of things.
Oh, yes.
And one of the things that it changed is our ability to reach the whole world. But it also gave that ability to a whole bunch of other people. So you're now in competition with not 100,000 artists, or 50,000 labels. You're in competition with, 10 million artists. Maybe.
Yeah.
And, a million different labels that are trying to do exactly what you're doing. That's the obstacle, and probably the toughest thing about running the label part, is knowing that it's every day, man. It never quits. The grind. Yeah. You hear artists and owners talk about the grind. The grind is that every day I got to do something, to push this label to the next level. Yes. I've got artists that are depending on me to represent them in, this arena.
Yes.
And to represent them, to the best of my ability. And so I got to be learning.
Yeah.
Every day I got to learn something new. And so, and at the very minuscule, I got to also, take care of business, man. I got to promote. I got to do the little things that make the difference, And so that's the toughest thing. It's just, the grind every day. There's never a day off.
Never a day off. You're right about that.
Right.
You're right about that.
Right.
Now I want to get into the radio station you have. When artists submit their music, what are you looking for as far as the type of music you want to play on your radio station?
The station's main focus is, of course, because of what we do, is rap, hip hop, R&B first and foremost, and then urban pop, urban gospel, and then everything else.
Yes.
We don't really turn anybody down. I know that's probably crazy, but the show again is 3 hours, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I used to filter every one of these submissions myself. Now Nakia, pretty much, the Kid Pulse, who's my executive A&R, my personal manager, and also my fiance, she handles that now. It really has taken a lot off my plate in regards to that.
Yes.
We tell everybody, send us your music. Send us your best 3 MP3s and or video. Send us a cover art, and send us a short bio. We want to hear what you sound like, see what you look like, or what you're presenting to the world, and then find out who you are via the bio. We don't discriminate. Like I say, we play. If you send us your music, you're probably going to get played at least once on the show at some point. Some get more airplay than others simply because it fits better with the criteria of what we're presenting. But for the most part, man, we take it all, and that's a lot of work. And but we do live interviews on Saturday with these artists, and you submit your request to be featured and or interviewed, and then we have to kind of siphon through that. Like I said, which is a job in itself. But we take it all as long as it comes under those genres. So we don't discriminate against what we're looking for. We want the quality to be there, and we've had to step up, what we're doing, because as we grow, we want to present a better show.
Yes.
So in presenting that better show, we got to present better quality of music. So
yes.
we want it to be, radio air quality. But I play some stuff, man, that probably nobody else in the world would probably ever play,
yes.
simply because of quality, but because I see something in it or hear something in it, and I want to at least give them a shot to, for somebody else maybe to hear it that